apartments and to this and our Zenaida Gonzalez.
For the record,
what were those pieces?
Is your client's name Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez or just Zenaida Gonzalez?
Zenaida Gonzalez.
Okay.
What were the pieces that you...
The pieces is we know she was at Sawgrass. We know she knew people at Sawgrass. There's a girl named Annie Downing. We're trying to figure out where did Annie Downing live. There was
we had confirmation today that she did have a friend, at least one friend, there at Sawgrass. We now have out of her brother's mouth there is a connection. She did have a friend at Sawgrass.
Look, you all got to remember this because you know who we're dealing with. So we have pieces that we believe are going to prove that this is the Zenaida Gonzalez they're talking about. But we're getting it piecemeal and one at a time. But we believe that today we took a lot of steps towards going to Sawgrass, where our client was and had a record of being, and I think we started some pieces of that puzzle together today.
Let me say one thing. There are two pieces. Hang on a second. There are two. When you're talking about this defamation case, there are two pieces to it. A, you started out talking about our client. That's who got trashed. That's why she got sucked into it. But the truth is, it wasn't our client. She got nothing to do with this mess. So you got two pieces, and we made steps in showing. Now that you want to say it never ever was your client, we made steps to stand. Our client got sucked into it, and it was this Zenaida Gonzalez you were initially blaming. And now that it proved it can't be her, you're trying to blame some other Zenaida Gonzalez. So we cleared it for today, but took steps to showing that's clearing it today, but in the past you were trashing our client.
Let me ask you, how does he know that this was not the Zenaida Gonzalez she's
only,
talking
not
about
because
if he's never seen her?
He's not seen any pictures, but only through his sister's physical description that he says he gave. And the problem is her story changes so much. How much help is that? But one thing we know, we've now had 8 family members say under oath, it ain't this Zenaida Gonzalez, and that's a good day for her.
Did he ever nail down when he first heard Zenaida Gonzalez? Or even Zanny the Nanny?
It was on MySpace. He go ahead, John.
No, I think it was before that, as far as I know.
Yeah, he gave a date.
A date when he came.
I don't have my notes.
Before Kaylee disappeared?
Yes, before Kaylee disappeared. Which I can't remember.
He said this. He said that. When she was 6 months old. When she was 6 months old. Have you heard that before? He said. Here's what he's already said about when he first heard about Zenaida Gonzalez. When she was 6 months old, that Zenaida Gonzalez was introduced to Casey by a man named John Hopkins or Jim Hopkins from Jacksonville. As it turns out, they've chased that all the way down, and that Zenaida Gonzalez was babysitting Kaylee from the time she was 6 months to the time of the disappearance, and that there was a Hopkins fella in Jacksonville. Now, Lee said today that he tracked that down, and he now knows there is no Hopkins, but that he went to high school with a Hopkins of the same name.
Right.
And so the first time,
But the first time Lee heard Zanny's name was when? In July?
After.
That's what I thought. That's
what I thought.
Time after. When she was about to get arrested.
It was after the fact that he had never
and the whole
heard
thing was
he had never heard of Zenaida Gonzalez in his life until all this stuff broke.
Oh, yeah.
He hadn't heard of her as babysitting or anything else.
But the news for me was that she's telling him that Zenaida's been babysitting her since she was 6 months old and introduced by a guy who had the same name that a guy that Lee went to school with.
What did today do for your client?
Today was, as Keith has said, today was a first step in the right direction for our client. Because, look, and one thing we will say to you all that we appreciate, that you all allowed this step to take place because we're big First Amendment people around here, but you all agreed to step out because they were going to walk away. They were going to walk away from this deposition. And I know that Zenaida Gonzalez appreciates you all allowing this to go on. But what we did for our client, and the reason that the media is important, and they don't, we talked about, you invited the media to the memorial service, but you didn't want the media to be here. Today, Zenaida Gonzalez was slandered and defamed in a public forum. Cindy Anthony, Lee Anthony, representatives have repeated Zenaida Gonzalez in a public forum. Today in a public forum, Zenaida Gonzalez got to sit here, look at an Anthony family, and begin the process of getting her good name back. It was a great day for Zenaida Gonzalez.
Is she still planning on changing her name to get away from all that?
She has had the worst life. She has spoken to me, she's spoken to my brother about actually changing her name so that when she goes in and applies for a job, when she goes anywhere, that she doesn't have to answer that question. So yes, she is considering that.
Let me add one. Hang on a second. Let me add one more thing that came out in the deposition. The people interesting that came out. Casey claimed to her brother that there was communication from this so-called Zenaida Gonzalez on a regular basis while she had Casey, instructing her where to go, what to do. Kaylee, I'm sorry. And that the brother then looked at the computer to see all of this proof, whether there was such emails or such entries, and they had all been erased, all gone mysteriously.
From July 3rd
erased,
backwards.
Or just there wasn't
That they had
anything
been taken out. No, that there was a big blank spot, and he knew that there were emails during that time.
Everything from April
and it was all just gone.
There were comments on the MySpace page about things happening, and all that
up
was
till July 3rd.
And we
it had all
asked,
been
did
erased.
she erase it? And he said she denied doing it. I don't know how someone else did. But
I'm
they
not
erased
clear.
it.
You're saying there was an indication that she had emails from Zenaida that were erased,
On
or
her,
just
from
stuff?
Zenaida. Direct communications,
Oh, yeah.
instructing her where to go, what to do
Right, but
during
then
this
when
time.
he looked at the computer, did
There was
he
nothing
see?
there.
It had all been erased.
But what had been erased, though? Could he? Everybody's
Everything. He said there was just a big gap, and he knew
Up
there was
until
stuff
July
in there, and there's
3rd.
So
nothing.
during the time frame that she said
Somebody
she
had
was in communication,
erased it all.
all of her email
All.
stuff was
Just
a claim was that-
he
blank
doesn't
slate.
know whether there
And her
was
claim
anything
was
there or
that
not.
Oh no!
somebody
No,
was in
but-
charge.
That's what I meant. That she
Point
was
being,
trying to fake.
was
He
it-
also have you all heard about the timer 55? You all understand what that's all about?
No, we heard that.
Her screen name was Timer 55.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Somebody had
It's her
changed her
password.
password.
But she said, what Lee told us today, that that Zenaida Gonzalez had changed her password to Timer 55. And that 55, here we go, that 55 is the amount of days from June 15th to August 9th, which was Casey's birthday. And that Casey told her that Zenaida Gonzalez had come into the computer, had changed the password to Timer 55, and that the number 55 was all about the time that she took her from Blanchard Park, the countdown.
The punishment period. I'm going to keep her for a period of time to punish you and teach you a lesson.
The reason
For what?
Well, we asked that question a million different ways. We kept saying
And she was going to give the kid back on Casey's birthday?
well, she never said, but we kept saying
never
what
said.
the other thing that was interesting. I thought, and I think Keith did too, was we said what kind of person was Casey? When this woman came and walked away with your child, and she didn't have a gun, she didn't have a knife. She grabbed my arm, and he said, yeah, because Casey's the type that, and he started laughing, she'd fist fight you. She's the type, and we said, what did she, when she walked away with her child and said, I'm taking this child to teach you a lesson, what did Casey do? She did nothing. She just watched her go to the car with Zenaida's sister and Zenaida's sister's 2 children.
And the best answer as to why, she just said it was surreal.
Yeah, she said, why? We said, if she's that
So
kind
she
of
did
person,
nothing.
why did she let it happen? She said it was just surreal, and she couldn't stop it.
And he said he believed this. Lee said he believed this story.
He said in different ways. You'll have to look at the tape and see. He says, I believe what my sister said. He later said, I believe. We talked about her truthfulness. She had a truthful problem in high school. She stole money. So, yeah.
But your client, just to be clear here, Zenaida Gonzalez, she is not Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
She's not.
So no, she doesn't.